President Joe Biden appeared to breach royal protocol during his first meeting with the Queen, after the US president was ordered not to bow for Her Majesty. Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden met the Queen at Windsor Castle yesterday, following the end of the G7 summit in Cornwall. The US president and First Lady flew to Windsor after attending the G7 summit in Cornwall. The presidential jet Air Force One took them to Heathrow, before they were flown by helicopter, Marine One, to Windsor. There, a relatively humble Range Rover, rather than the armored limousine known as the Beast, took them on the last stage of the journey, through the George Ivy Gate into the Castle Quadrangle. The Potter's 18-car convoy arrived at the Eden Project 5 minutes after the monarch got there with Prince William and Kate, and Prince Charles and Camilla. Royal protocol usually dictates members of the royal family should be the last to arrive at an event and the first to leave. However, Mr. Biden and the US First Lady Dr. Jill Biden arrived at yesterday's reception a few minutes after the Queen. An expert warned everyone should arrive before the royals at ceremonial events, and nobody should leave before them at the end. As reported by the Daily Mail, British professional coaching company Debrett states, "It is correct for everyone to arrive before the royal personage and protocol rules that no guest should leave an event before a member of the royal family." The late arrival of Mr. Biden's 18-car convoy did not appear to damp the Queen's enthusiasm, who was all smiles as she spoke to Emma and Dr. Biden. It marks a blooper for the gaffe-prone president during his first royal meeting since entering the White House. While according to reports, he did not bow for her on Sunday, which some saw as a snub, but it is not a breach of royal protocol. There are no obligatory codes of behavior when meeting the Queen, but many people wish to observe the traditional form. For men, this is a neck bow, while women do a small curtsy, but many world leaders have chosen not to do this before. This has been a busy weekend for Her Majesty, who met world leaders on Friday when she attended the G7 reception at the Eden Project in Cornwall. She was then rushed back to Windsor in the evening so she could attend Trooping the Colour. The visit included a guard of honor and afternoon tea with the monarch, who is said to have asked him about China's Xi Jinping and Russia's Vladimir Putin. However, Joe Biden left his sunglasses on when he met Queen Elizabeth II, but a former royal butler told that he should have removed them. Grant Harold, a former butler to Prince Charles and Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, said that the president was entitled to wear his shades to the event but should have removed them at the point he greeted Elizabeth. It's fine for Biden to have had sunglasses on, but he should have removed them when he actually met the Queen, Harold continued. Everyone else has to. It doesn't matter who you are. Even royals remove sunglasses when they meet royals. It's one of those rules I always write about in my etiquette texts. It is a breach of protocol. If you're meeting the Queen face to face, there's no sunglasses or anything like that at all, because eye contact is quite important with any introduction. This is not the first time a US presidential couple breach royal protocol during a visit to the UK. And, in 2007, George W. Bush misspoke, saying the Queen helped the US celebrate its bicentennial in 17, before catching himself and quickly correcting the date to 1976. Mr. Bush said afterwards, "She gave me a look that only a mother could give a child." In 2009, Michelle Obama briefly put her arm around the Queen's back, as the two shared complaints about their aching feet at a reception for the G20 group of world leaders in London. But, as she revealed 2 years later, the monarch told her not to worry about it. During a speaking engagement in London in 2018, Mrs. Obama said, "So I had all this protocol buzzing in my head, and I was like, don't trip down the stairs and don't touch anybody, whatever you do." But the monarch did not seem bothered by this natural gesture and, disregarding the royal convention, also wrapped her arm around Mrs. Obama's waist. Mrs. Obama later recalled, she continued to be nervous about breaking royal protocol even during her following visits to the Queen. And so the Queen says just get in, sit wherever, and she's telling you one thing and you're remembering protocol and she says oh it's all rubbish, just get in. In 2018, Donald Trump was criticized for both walking in front of her and putting his hand on her back. Yesterday evening, world leaders attending the G7 summit with a few senior members of the royal family and Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who hosted a reception at the Eden Project. The Queen was joined by Prince Charles, the Duchess of Cornwall and the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. During the reception, Kate continued to show a keen understanding with Dr. Biden, whom she had first met hours earlier for a joint engagement at a school in Hale. The pair also penned a joint article, in which they spoke about the importance of childhood's education and a better understanding of the impact the early years have on the development of children. During the reception, the Queen appeared to be in a stellar condition as she cracked a joke during the traditional, albeit socially distanced, family photograph. The US President and First Lady, Jill Biden, were hosted by Her Majesty for tea at the royal residence. Joe Biden praised her generosity and said she reminded him of his mother after the monarch hosted him and the First Lady for tea at the Berkshire royal residence. Speaking to reporters after his visit, Mr. Biden said, "I don't think she'd be insulted, but she reminded me of my mother. In terms of the look of her and just the generosity." The president added, "I wish we could stay for longer, maybe we could hold the cars up a few minutes. Anyway, she was very gracious. She was very generous." President Joe Biden has previously spoken about his mother Catherine, who died in 2010 age 92, as the profound influence on his life. He said, "She helped him to overcome a stutter in his youth and organize the coffee morning fundraisers when he first ran for the Senate in 1972 at the age of 29. Before, the Bidens spent about 40 minutes inside the castle and the whole visit lasted more than an hour in total." President Joe Biden appeared to be impressed by Windsor Castle and said, "We could fit the White House in the courtyard." The US president, who visited the monarch with his wife Jill Biden yesterday following the G7 summit in Cornwall last week, said she wanted to know about the Russian and Chinese presidents and they had a long talk. Before leaving the UK, the 78-year-old president shared details of his conversations with the 95-year-old head of state and revealed he had invited her to visit the White House. Mr. Biden told reporters before leaving London Heathrow Airport yesterday, "We had a great talk. She wanted to know what the two leaders the one I'm about to meet with, Mr. Putin, and she wanted to know about 11 Jinping." He said, "We had a long talk. She was very generous. I don't think she'd be insulted, but she reminded me of my mother. In terms of the look of her and just the generosity. She was very gracious. However, it is generally frowned upon for anyone to reveal the contents of their private talks with the Queen. Something that also happened when Mr. Biden's predecessor Donald Trump visited her in Britain in 2018. Please support growing channel by subscribe channel and like video hour. And don't forget activate notifications to channel to always get the latest news. If you have any problems with the information in the video, please write a comment below to let us know and answer.